Howdy guys, Bookie Laura here. Now I thought today I wanted to bring you another discussion video. I've got a lot of discussions on my mind and I'm finally in a place where I feel like I've got to get them out. I've got to just tell you what I'm thinking. So today I want to discuss, am I the only one who doesn't collect books for the sake of collecting books? So there's kind of like two parts to this. The first is the kind of like, you know, you see those videos where people do these huge book hauls and you're like, do they read all those books? So firstly, am I the only one who doesn't do massive book hauls? And secondly, am I the only person who only buys books to actually read them? Now I often feel slightly inadequate, and I think a lot of people do on BookTube, because you often see these people doing these huge book hauls where they have 15, 20, maybe even more books than that. And I watch them and I think, oh, part of me really wants to do that. But firstly, I haven't got the money to buy that amount of books. You know, that'd be nice. But secondly, are they seriously intending on reading all of those books? I myself tend to do smaller book hauls when I do them, you know, 2 or 3 books that I've picked up at the library, or a book I've bought on eBay, maybe a book that I've actually bought, you know, a brand new copy of on some rare occasion. But I see these book hauls that are so many books and they're great videos. They seem to get tons of views, and I watch them and think, am I the only person who doesn't just buy absolutely shed loads of books? I mean, they can't seriously be going to read them all, because if you're getting a book haul of, say, 10 to 20 books a month and you're not reading 10 to 20 books a month, then you know, I mean, I might not be the best at maths, but I know that if you're buying more than you read, then you're obviously not intending on reading them all. And then what's the point? When I buy books that I want to read. And, you know, sometimes I'll buy books and it takes me a while to get around to reading them. Some I lose interest in. But on the whole, the books that I get will be read relatively quickly. A lot of my book hauls, I get books from the library and then a couple of cheap books, and particularly library books, are going to be read really soon after me getting them. So I'm just completely baffled, I think, by the book hauls. I mean, I enjoy watching them. They seem to be really, really popular. But, like, I don't see the point in buying books if you're not going to read them. It feels like the focus is on the buying of the books and the showing of the covers rather than on the reading and enjoyment of them, which should be the main point. And then my second bit that I kind of wanted to include, because it's relevant and related, is I feel like I'm the only person who doesn't collect books. Now, I should probably do a video about this in more detail, but I very, very rarely actually keep books once I've read them. I went through a phase earlier in my life. I can be a bit of a hoarder. I like to collect things and then I like to have everything. So for a long time, I was keeping all of my books and I had them lined up on a shelf. You may also know that I don't often reread books. So it felt like one day I was looking at these shelves thinking, I've got all these books taking up so much space in my house. And for what? I mean, I'm not going to reread them. And it just kind of made me reevaluate what was the purpose behind me having all these books, this huge collection of books up on my shelf that I was never going to reread. They were really just there to look pretty and remind me of the books that I'd read. But I can achieve that through Goodreads or through a spreadsheet or something similar. So I feel like, yeah, I'm the only person on BookTube who doesn't collect books. Recently, I got a comment from somebody, which was really kind and lovely, that said, oh, why don't you do a bookshelf tour? And I mean, because this is literally it. I mean, I could do a bookshelf tour here and now. I mean, these are the books I own that I haven't read. These are the books I own that I've read and I'm keeping. And basically, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 signed books and Harry Potter. I mean, they're the only ones I plan to keep. And that's because, like, the Harry Potter books I intend to pass on to my son, and that's quite important to me. And the signed books I feel also have significance. But other than that, I don't keep books. When I've read them, I kind of like to give them to somebody else that I think will enjoy them. And I've even been struggling with this with my signed books recently, because I've read them and I often think, oh, there are kids I know who would really love to read this. Doesn't that seem more valuable? Doesn't it seem more valuable to pass the book on to somebody else, particularly if they're a child and they might engage with it and get into reading in a big way, rather than keep them to look pretty on a shelf? So those are my two questions that I have for you today. And please, please do answer them and tell me, am I the only one who doesn't do massive book hauls and doesn't understand massive book hauls? Because you can't be going to read all those books. And am I the only one who doesn't collect books for the sake of collecting them? Please, I mean, it's not that I'm opposed to other people collecting books. If you want to have it, crack on, it's your life. But I think for me, I'd rather share that with somebody else. I'd rather give somebody else the opportunity to read that amazing story. Please do leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts on this. I am under no illusions that the way I feel about the hauling and collecting of books, I am in the minority. I know that lots of people love it, so tell me, what is it that you love about it and what on earth am I missing? Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.